Alright, welcome back to the shop. So we got a little project we're playing around with here. This is a used and abused 1/8 inch Ridgid pipe die. I got this, have some other dies that I have. I wanted to try and have a few, most of the sizes, in case you get into the project. It's nice to have the ability to tap and thread some pipe. So I want to try and take this apart. It's been on here a long time, so we'll see if we can clean it up. I have this Dremel-esque tool here we're going to try out. Clean these slots out with the wire wheel. Make sure you wear a pair of these things because those wires are just itching to get into your eyeball. And we'll see if we can get this thing apart, and then we'll continue to try and clean it up there from that point. Alright, here we go. Oh, it made it sound like I'm not running this too hard. It's because I'm not. These wires really do not like spinning too fast, so unless you want to be picking them out of your skin, don't spin these too fast. Okay, so we got that all cleaned out there. Looks like these screw heads have been worn or not. The screws are not all the same or something, but we'll see if we can get them out. Might have to soak it. Either way, we're making progress. Okay, so these are pretty tight. I really would rather not mess them up, so what I did was I put this into a vise, the die here into a vise. And what I'm going to try and do is use a impact gun with a straight blade tip on it. You got to be careful when you do this because you don't want to go gangbusters and have everything go flying. But what I'm going to try and do is just hit it lightly. And there we go, we knocked that one loose pretty easily. It's just taking a little hit here. It's not taking a lot, but it was really snug with the screwdriver. There we go. That one took a little more. And this one here has got a really narrow slot, so we want to be careful. There we go. A lot of downward force there to do that. But that's okay. We just don't want to damage anything. Then we can run it out by hand. I just didn't want to run these out with the straight because it's straight and they go flying everywhere. So here we go. Got that loose. Screws are out. Okay, die cover. So what this is here is this is just a cover plate, and it looks like the dies are supposed to float in there a little bit. I mean, everything is very much seized. So what I'll get here is I'll get a brass drift and I'll see if I can tap that out. Okay, it probably would have been a good idea on my part to soak this thing a little bit, but let's just see if a little light tapping with this brass tap and a mallet here will knock these free. If not, I might just soak them and come back to it. Yeah, that's not really wanting to go, so I think that one's moving. So there we go, we got one on the move. Try and get that out of there. I've had a number of these apart, and this is by far most rusted one I've done. Normally had to fix them at work. They get stuff in them. You got to play around with them to get that stuff out. There we go. Number 1 die out. It actually doesn't seem atrocious. Might thread pipe. I don't know. So we got 1 out. These dies are numbered. They do matter where they go. They're timed actually for threading, and that's how they work. Try and tap all along this to break it free, but I think what I'm gonna do is soak this thing. These are really in here. Who knows how long this thing's been sitting. And I really don't want to wind up on it with a large drift, just because, you know, it's not gonna, you don't want to beat on this stuff. So we'll soak this and wait a while. So we'll come back to this. Okay, so we soaked this in some oil, and we got the proverbial screwdriver of shame that every shop has, meant for more beating and prying than screwing. And what we're going to do is try and tap these out. I already tapped 1 out. I'm keeping the screwdriver straight on here. These dies are very brittle, so you don't want to get too aggressive. But all I'm going to do is move it on out. And once it's out, we can pick it out. So there we go. Die number 2. And that one was in there a bit more, but there's die number 3. So there we go. All 4 dies in a very serious need of cleaning. Die stock also needing to be cleaned up. So we're going to play around with this a little bit, clean it up. I think I'm going to get new screws for the whole thing here, and we'll put it back together. Probably hunt down some Ridgid-esque orange paint, and we'll repaint the whole thing. Be a fun little project, fix something up, and hopefully it'll work for us for a good long while in the shop. Okay, so we cleaned up our dies, just wire wheeled them. They cleaned up nicely. You can see the numbers on them now. And I wire brushed the top of the die stock, and I cleaned very lightly with a file the inside of the die stock. And when I did that, I just very, very gently, I did not dig in hard, but I just very gently went back and forth with this until I could see shiny metal everywhere. That's all we're going for. We're not looking to file and file and file. And here we go. You can see the dies no longer seized up, nice and free. So we can get them all pushed in here, the right numbers. Flying in there. And there we go. So that's very important. The dies need to be nice and free. No, my hand's blocking there. But there we go. Dies are nice and free. Did not clean this up yet, but this will sit on top here somehow, some way, just like that. And we'll get her back together. So now it's just going to be a matter of cleaning everything up and putting it all, reassembling it. The most important part is done. we have this. I think I'm going to buy new fasteners yet. But there we go. We got the die mostly put back together already. Doesn't take a whole lot to rebuild these, just a little patience. Like I say, you do not want to get aggressive with the file. You'll make these pockets slippery, or I shouldn't say slippery. You'll egg out these pockets, and the dies will not sit straight any longer. I only just used the file to clear the rust scale out of the pockets and get everything freely moving again. Alright, we're back with this project here. We got everything painted here. A little dirty, but everything's painted. Now what I gotta do is I gotta clean all of the paint off of the areas where the dies go. This is a little too tight for the dies to fit in at this time. So we'll just take care of that quick, and then we'll be back. Alright. Okay, just thought I'd show this. I could have masked this off. I just chose not to, so what I'm using is one of these spin-em-a-thing and cleaning things, and it's working out pretty good. Just get in there. And lightly clean that off. Goes nicely. Okay, so there we go. We got the paint cleaned off the top of that, and that is for this to sit onto, like that, and that'll retain the dies. So we still got to clean out the insides here of the paint that is in them. And I am going to try this file, and we'll see how it works. I am not going to get aggressive here. Just move this back and forth, clean off the paint. The idea is not to remove any of the metal really, it's just to clean up, take the paint off. Which it seems like it's doing. Good. So we'll play around with this and be back. Do a test fit here. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. Good. Okay, so here we go. We got this cleaned up. I just lightly, this is a double cut on this side and just a regular mill bastard on this side, and it's only got cutting teeth on one side, the other side it does not. So all I did was I just lightly grazed over that, took the paint off, and flipped it over so that the non-filing side was riding down in here, and I wasn't cutting anything. And then I just lightly glazed across these so that we cleaned the paint off and nothing else. Alright, so let's put this guy back together. Oh yeah, they feel good. Now these dies are timed. You gotta put the right number in the right spot, otherwise it will not thread properly. Go in nice now. They don't have to pound them in and out like we did before. There we go. And this will hold that whole thing right into place. And I'm going to push them out. Unfortunately, I do not have any 1/8 inch pipe here to try and thread. Kind of jumped the gun on this project, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Okay, I normally wouldn't do this, but I have the old fasteners here. I'm just going to put them in temporarily. I do have new ones on order. I'll be putting the new ones in as soon as I get them, but this way all the parts will stay together and we won't lose anything until the new stuff comes. So here we go. Get them all started. Alright, so there we go. Nicely restored die. That's a little rough around the edges, but these things get thrown around and end up getting rough in the, anyway. So it's a lot better than it was. It's a lot cleaner. Not a big rust bucket like it had been. Like I said, it's already getting dirt here on the bottom, but it should do what I need it to do. Thanks for watching.